Welcome to Life Coaches Unfiltered, where Desiree, Doree, and Micehlle, three life coaches, are here to answer the questions you have, but we're afraid to ask. No fluff, no filters, just real talk to help you navigate life's big challenges. Let's dive in.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Life Coaches Unfiltered. Lately, we've been talking about dating topics, and today we are diving into the deliciously
Deliciously.
interesting topic of dating after 40. So, if you're out there on the struggle bus, you're over 40 and you're trying to date, we're going to talk about some of the stuff you're probably seeing. But before we jump into our topic, we like to do check ins. How y'all doing this morning?
It was so good seeing y'all this weekend.
I'm
I
sleepy.
loved getting together and planning our next season. That was really very nice. And thanks for
The free
the
food?
food. Yeah, that was amazing.
That was divine intervention. I had nothing to do with it. It was like, we made your order twice, ma'am. Would you like it? Yes, I will feed my coworkers, my
It
chosen
was
coworkers.
it was
Brisket
so good
tacos.
seeing y'all. It made my day. It really was really nice getting together. We don't get to do that very often, so it was really great.
Yeah,
And
that
we're such,
breakfast taco was
that
good.
breakfast taco was the bomb.
That was, and I told my husband about it, and he was like, "I bet it was good." And because he goes, "Did you tell her about the donuts?" And I was just like, "Yeah, she knows about the donuts." I said, "But that cinnamon roll, like it's like crack." He just started laughing, but I was like, "Babe, we need to go have those breakfast tacos again because that was good." So Desiree, thank you for bringing that, but I really didn't need it, but it was very good to to have it.
It was delicious. I mean, I ate that breakfast and I didn't eat until dinner again. So, and of course, it was music bingo dinner.
I was gonna say, how was music bingo?
It was good. It was good. We had a Man, we have kind of a core group, and there are two dudes that really like the rock, like the 90s modern rock. And they were just like really excited that we had a round with that. Like they knew every song. It was hilarious. So,
That's
and
funny.
then somebody showed up. This is a classic midlife joke that you will get. If you were at the part of life where you're needing your readers, but you're like forgetting them all the time,
Yes.
somebody showed up and they needed readers because they couldn't read the names on the bingo cards. And they were like, I don't have my glasses. They walk out to their car. They're like, I don't have any glasses in my car. So I dig out my purse and I was like, I have a pair of readers that you can use, but they were pink polka dotted. So this gentleman in our party last night was like, I ain't got no shame and wore my pink polka dotted readers. Yeah, apparently my readers were really strong. I was like, they're only 1.5. Like, though I'm
That's
not
not
at
that's not strong. No. I wear like a
whatever.
2 now.
Really? Anyway,
Mhm.
these glasses are like blue light blockers and like readers, and but
Yeah.
they have the transition, like they're like Mac Daddy, but they're 6 years old. So I need to go get new ones because they're not as powerful as I need anymore.
Yeah, I'm
Anyway,
with you. I need to probably get some new glasses, but hey, you know that. But I'm feeling tired today, so if I'm quiet, you'll know why.
Micehlle. Yeah, but we did it. We were so overachievers yesterday that we were gonna outline or come up with 10 topics for our next season, and we ended up
Wait.
expanding seasons to 12 and coming up with topics for the next 24 shows. So I hope you guys like our content because there's more where that came from. All right, Doree, how was your weekend aside from, I mean, it was great to see y'all yesterday. It was like so
Yeah,
fabulous.
it was so good seeing you guys. It was funny because I was just talking to Matt before this, and it was like, "Oh, how was your weekend? Was it relaxing?" We're like, "No." It's like go, 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 go. And you kind of look forward to Monday to just chill. So, but it was a good weekend. The weather is so beautiful. A little chilly here, but it's I love this time of year, so it's really nice. What about you guys?
I was walking many thinking the same thing about the weather. Micehlle, aside from meeting with us and having amazing brisket tacos, what did you do this weekend?
So I was trying to plan my vacation for the summer. Um, Still is up in the air about that. And then one of my friends, we celebrated her opening up her salon because she has bought her own building, which, is an achievement and everything like that. So we went to go and support them yesterday, and so that was great. So yeah, no, it's great that she now doesn't have any landlords and she has her own building for her hair studio and hair salon. So it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Super awesome. Yeah.
Cheers.
I mean, I worked all day Saturday. It's in the busy season for one of my jobs. So Saturday was banana pants. And I just got back from hippie camp. Anyway, it's been a lot of like, Desi needs to sleep.
Yeah,
And
that's what
Minnie
I feel
feels,
like. Like right now, I'm like, okay, I need just like a nap sometime today. Would be good.
yeah, it makes me really regret when I was a kindergartner and hated the nap time. And now I'm like, can I have that back, please? Like, but out every day.
I don't know what you were thinking because I'm gonna take the nap.
Anyway, so let's jump into speaking of all the midlife problems that we've already talked about. Your eyesight goes down the toilet. You need naps. And if you find yourself suddenly single and back on the dating apps, I will lead with this, right? So I got divorced. It was like I was 39. I'm pretty sure, I was 39. I was about to be 40. Highly suggest doing something stupid and wild and exciting if you're turning 40 and you're single with your single friends. We went ziplining. Um, Highly recommend that. It was an epic day. But I was like, I am gonna get back on the dating apps. All these people talking about what a dumpster fire it is, they're full of crap, right? Mm-mm. And I was determined. I was like, I can figure things out. I'm gonna figure out how to do this well, and I'm gonna be successful for it. Like, no. It did not work that way. Back when I met my ex, like I was in my 20s, like the dating pool is everybody, it's like way more expanded. Than and then I think in this day and age, a lot of young people still meet their partners on dating apps, but dating apps were an interesting animal at first, and I didn't understand ghosting, and I was like, what the hell is happening? Anyway, so would love to hear. We were talking that Michelle, you were dating in your late 30s. So I don't know if you were necessarily in this dumpster fire, but Doree and I have dated in our 40s. What is
Well,
y'all's
I
feeling?
mean, I was on the cusp. I was on the cusp. And I met my husband on a dating app. So, I mean, I would say, yeah, when I came over to the US, I was constantly on dating apps. And yeah, I kissed a lot of frogs and a lot of toads. Don't need to leave the toads out. So, yeah, I mean, it is difficult. Um, and I have friends who are who, in fact, who are probably have said that they're fed up of dating now, and they're in their 40s. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. Because I know back in the day, many moons ago, when dating apps didn't weren't around, it was just like you just went out just to meet people and go to bars or nightclubs or whatever, and that's how you meet. But it seems that dating apps have not taken over the world, but that's commonly where people want to go and meet people and then see from there. But there's some weirdos on those dating apps.
I mean, there's
There are
there
some weirdos. I met a few of those too. But I think it's I think it's hard dating in your 40s because you've you've gone through life, well, hoping you've gone through life and learnt and understood, what you're looking for and everything. So I'm not saying in your younger days that you're going to put up with bullshit, but I feel like, your reign or, oh my gosh, see, I can't even think this morning. What you want in a person or what you would like in a person, say would like, I think is loosey goosey and then gets very kind of like streamlined and clear cut, I'm hoping, when you get older. But then, you get into your ways, you get set in your ways. So I just feel it's harder because I know that there are friends of mine who is like, yeah, I want to have a relationship, but I don't want to live with this person. I don't need them in my space. So so I think it completely changes when you get into your 40s and what your expectations are and the red flags and what you need and maybe not living with the person, but we are companions, so to speak. So it really depends what people's looking for, but yeah, it was definitely different. And then trying to navigate being married at the age of, how old was I? 41? That was hard because it was like I've been independent all my life. And then I'm like, I got to share these things with my husband. What? What? Like, this is not cool. And then I've got a little child as well who's 10, and I've got to pick him up from school and take him to practices. What? Because in your 40s, you're going to guarantee that someone's going to have a child. There are some people who don't have children, so, and I'll put myself in that category, but, you know, partners may have children. And so if that, again, if that's on your radar, that's great. But if it's not, then, that's one of your red flags that you don't want to date someone with children. So, and I feel like I'm rambling. So someone come on in.
I think that I think that's an interesting point about kids because I don't have kids. And yeah, it's like having that would be a huge adjustment for me to
Oh,
date someone with young children.
totally.
Because it's like it's hard enough to be two people in a relationship. Then let's bring in an ex that you have children with and do co-parenting. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is like
Baby mama drama
mm,
or the daddy drama, whichever one.
it's just that's a lot. It's a lot more like you're taking a complex situation of two people relating to one another, being compatible, having chemistry, communicating clearly, and then you're adding a whole nother complexity on it
And
with
then you've got a little one, and then you're thinking, I'm not their mother.
yeah.
Then I have to be a disciplinarian to a certain extent, and they may hate me. And being a step parent is definitely difficult. And I know Dory can attest to that. So yeah, that's a whole nother dynamics.
Dory
I was
pretty
gonna say that could
much
be a whole nother episode in
It could
itself.
be, it
Is
could
the
be.
life of a step parent.
That it
That's
definitely could
whole
be.
a whole different thing, and that is definitely it was something that I like struggled with not having children, and then started dating someone who had kids and having to navigate that road of being told, you're not their parent, you're not their friend. What are you then? And trying to figure out that kind of middle ground. But I think that is definitely the difference of what I noticed. First of all, I got sober right at 40. So not only was I navigating being single after being married for 8 years, but also being sober and single. And so my whole dynamic was totally different in that area of that. Now I didn't have liquid courage to help me to talk to people. I had to learn how to actually talk to people and figure out like who I was myself, and then throw dating apps on top of it and all of that stuff. And it was really just like an adventure in itself of, that. And then as you get older, you do meet people with children and exes, and for me, my red flags, and by the way, this is what I do my comedy on. This is topic right here because it is quite humorous. But my red flag is if you've never been married, there's a problem. If I that is so funny that because my exes before were not married, and so now I know why. But so anyway, as you get older, I think that you start to learn more about yourself, and then so that's when you start getting a little bit more selective, I think, and you don't want to waste your time on, being with people that you feel like are just not going to be compatible with you. Why put up with bullshit when you've got, your life to live, and being able to like just pick out who you want to spend time with versus, I think one of the quotes is about, quality versus quantity, and being able to say, my time is valuable.
Yeah,
Yes.
my dad would always say that money is a renewable resource, but like time, everybody's got the same amount of time. It's what you do with it. And because our excuses were always like, he was like, "Why don't you come visit me?" And I'm like, "I don't have time." And he's like, "Don't tell me that. Like that's an excuse. You're not prioritizing me." Which was hilarious coming from him because he did that to us when we were kids. So I was like, "Oh, interesting how that comes back to bite you." Um, but I think, yeah, I think it's like I don't want to waste my time, and I have clarity. It dawned on me about a year and a half or 2 years ago. I was like, I like people with a backstory. I like people with depth. Like, I don't want to date somebody that just wants to talk about sports ball all the time. Like, I just that's not interesting to me. We would have nothing to talk about. Like, I need somebody who goes to bed at a decent hour and wakes up at a decent hour. Like, I eat breakfast. Like there's little compatibility things that I've discovered dating where I'm like, that's just not going to work for me, right? And it's like they're a really great person. The cool thing about dating after 40 is most of my relationships that have ended well, of like for a valid reason, and I was like I can point to that, right? Like be like this person was not a match because of such. But it's given me, they're all learning opportunities. And I have been open to dating a different variety of people than I would have ever considered at 20 or 25. I had this like I was programmed from society to kind of look for somebody that matched X, Y, and Z. And and then you're like, well, that's what I need to do. We have all these expectations. And by your 40s, you realize a lot of that is just manufactured bullshit. And then you're like, I need to find what works for me. Now I'm rambling.
No, I would say that's right because you've heard our previous if you've listened to our previous episodes, we've talked about our relationships very briefly, but I had to change my mindset with the person that I wanted to attract because I was attracting losers. Just gonna put it out there. And I was the one I would say running after them. And and I mean that in the fact that I was the one putting all the effort in and they were the one taking and I was the one giving. And I was just like, all right, this is going to stop now because I'm the one looking like a complete ass all the time. Like, I'm the one who's putting more effort into the relationship than the other person. And so I need someone who is going to chase me and, who has certain values because it seemed like most of the guys that I dated did not respect their mothers. And that's a big thing. Because if they don't respect their mothers, then guess what? They're not going to respect you. And I found that out the hard way. And so yeah, so I wasn't. So that would be one of my questions. Like, what's your relationship with your mother? Because I want to find out and I want to hear how their relationship is. And if he's just like, yeah, I don't like my mother. That's it, done deal. We don't need to go any further. Don't need to go any further because I know that you're just gonna disrespect me. So it's not gonna happen. Um, so yeah, I just tried to attract different people because that was important. And then it was weird because it kind of did change. Like I was attracting these guys who, the nice guys that everyone's just like, oh, they're nice and they're boring and la la la. But I was attracting the nice guys, and because sometimes. And I would say you see it in the movies or you hear people saying, I went out with this guy and he was really nice, but I think I'd walk all over him and so forth. And it's just like, okay, but he was a nice guy. But why do we do that? As women, we're like, yeah, we don't want to date the nice guy because he's too nice. What's wrong with having someone who's nice? Now,
Well, I think
if he's nice and boring, then I can understand. But shit, let's be treated well.
that that's the difference in as you get older as well too. Is when you're younger, the sense of adventure. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
this isn't everybody, but that sense of adventure. But what you do find is you can find nice guys that actually have. I went from extreme to extreme. I went from like the uh totally like just major like red flag crazy, just kind of thing to boring and just kind of like I'll never forget. I was like at the grocery store one day and I was like, okay, so talking to one of my stepkids and I was like, so it can be like dating can be like ice cream. For many years I chose Rocky Road and all of these different crazy flavors and sometimes you just want just plain vanilla. And then I realized vanilla is not so great as well. So finding kind of this in between of, but as you get older, you start to decide more of like what you want and you realize that kind is a very key thing, at least for me, of being, that's so important to have that. And I don't know, as you change and evolve, I always tell my clients, who I'm with is usually a direct, well, not usually, is a direct reflection of how I feel about myself. And so if I am, if I look back at my previous relationships, I would never, ever, ever date that person today, which is telling, so telling. And, so that's with the dating over 40, I think you're more into like who you are, what you want, and you're not willing to sacrifice, like I said before, that. So,
I think in our 20s we think we have all the time in the world. And then in our 40s we get clarity that that's not the case. Um because you have the whole midlife like, oh, like I'm not going to live forever. My parents are dying. But the other thing that I think is hilarious that I have realized is a byproduct of dating after 40, especially dating after like 45, is we all have imperfect bodies. So like let's like stop trying to be supermodels. Like just it's okay. Like I like french fries and I will eat them. And I'm not going to have the perfect body because like those perfect bodies are made in the kitchen. It's really more about the what you're eating. But like I like to eat brisket tacos. So like how do so like I'm probably never going to have a perfect body and just get over it. And we understand if we have health issues. So like you're going out with somebody and they're like, "Well, I have this thing going on with my health." And you're like, "Oh yeah." Like that's just lifing, right? So in your 20s you'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to deal with that. Like I want someone who has perfect health and a perfect body and blah blah." And in 40s you're like, "Okay, I'll take the apple with the little bruise on it. It's okay. We'll work around it." What? Micehlle, why are you laughing at me? Am I speaking
Because
out
I'm
of
gonna
turn?
say I'm gonna kind of say no on that one.
Really?
I am, and the reason why I'll say no is because I dated a guy and he had high blood pressure. I'm in the health and wellness space.
Yeah.
I'm an ex-physical education teacher. So when you're telling me you've got high blood pressure, I'm gonna ask you, well, what are you doing to help yourself to get off blood pressure medicine? And when I hear it's hereditary, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But what are you doing? And they're saying, well, nothing. I'm like, what? Why are you not doing anything? Why are you still drinking sodas? Why are you still eating crappy food and you've got high blood pressure? So to me, that person does not respect their body. They're happy taking the pills.
Okay, so that's
And to me,
different.
I'm
But
like,
I'm going to
nah,
argue with you on this because some of that is lifestyle choices. Some of our health
it
is
is.
lifestyle choices, and some of it is I had to have my gallbladder removed
Oof.
because, like, and that, like, or I had a bout with cancer, or I like those kind of like, some of that can be attributed to lifestyle, but people
Yeah.
that do have perfect health still end up in the garbage bin of
Yes.
like, of getting a crappy health diagnosis. So some of it is lifestyle. I don't
Yeah.
drink sodas every day. Somebody who lives like has to have liters of Diet Coke in the house, probably not a good match for me. But like that wouldn't be because I mean that would be more of a lifestyle choice than like, okay, you have scars on your body because you had to have medical procedures to save your life.
Yeah.
Kind of like that's a spectrum.
Yeah.
And I totally understand. I mean, shit, the heart disease runs in my family. Like I know I shouldn't like when I go to Louisiana and I eat absolute shit food, I feel like shit. Like last night I sat down and I was like, well, I'm gonna order the spinach and artichoke dip because it's technically it's vegetables.
Vegetables.
And but I felt like crap after eating it. And well, because I didn't realize they fried the pita chips, I went with pita chips because I thought that at least they're not fried, right? No, they fried those things. And I was like, lesson learned, we're not doing that again. But I felt like crap. And
Hmm.
so, but that's a me decision, right? Of like,
Yeah.
I know that I have a family history of heart disease. Let me make better choices. But I'm also not like, I'm not doing that every day.
Yeah.
So,
No, I get it. But again, me personally, that was important to me of someone who wants to look after themselves. Now, granted, I understand people have certain things that are hereditary but I want you if we're gonna have a child, if we were gonna have a child or what, I want you to live to as long as you can. So to me, your health is important and you should make it a priority.
yeah.
Well,
And if you're not exercising either, that could also help with high blood pressure. So to me, I'm like, this person doesn't look after themselves, and then I'm gonna be the person who looks after them. No, so
so
sorry.
speaking on this subject myself, like getting back into the dating world after having someone who passed away from a heart attack. That piece of this component of this was very important to me because I don't want to get involved with someone and then lose them
Hmm.
again so soon. And so and when I started dating after, after that happened, um, it was very hard for me as well because I would go, there's some nice gentlemen out there. There are some nice guys out there. So let me just say that for the women that are listening to this, there are nice guys out there. Um, and the apps are an adventure. But the thing the thing of it is that for me myself, yes, it was what are you doing to take care of yourself? Just because of the fact that I'm like I cannot put myself out there again and have someone go so soon. It just was a big deal for me. But I also, for myself too, had to get myself in check as well when I started dating again. I was like, for my own health, because, my blood pressure, I did have high blood pressure again. And I had not had high blood pressure since before I started dating, but I gained, weight from, just the unhappiness and the sadness and all of those different things. So anyway, yeah, I think that it changes, and then there are people out there that have mental health issues and things like that as well. So as you're getting in the dating world, know that there is a variety of people out there who have a variety of different things to offer. One of the things I also, and Desiree, what you're pointing to on this as well is like, what are you also bringing to the table when it comes to those things, and is it a good match for what you're looking for, and being able to determine that. But as when I started dating again, I had to look at the way that I was, and I don't look the way that I did in my 20s. I'm actually better personally than I was in my 20s because I take better care of myself. I don't drink anymore. I'm not killing my liver, though my liver I think still is in protest sometimes. But I do better things for myself. And Desiree, I know that you do too. I mean, I know that you eat nutritious foods. This woman can cook like nobody's business, by the way. You all, Desiree Doucet is a killer cook. And she makes wonderful, wholesome foods that are yummy and nutritious. And I think that that's one of the things that we do better on as we get older. At least for myself, is like I pick better quality foods. I look at all of those different things. And anyway, so that's it. Like, yeah. And then I get tips for guys on this too. So when we get ready, I can give you guys out there some tips for dating over 40 because I went out with a few of you and there's
Please wash your hands when you come back from the
things you need to
bathroom.
know.
Please wash your hands
Wow. I want to hear
and
this.
floss your teeth.
I so want to hear this. I so want
Okay,
to hear this.
so yeah,
Back on topic.
if you're a guy over 40 and you're single, like washing your hands after you go to the bathroom, huge green flag.
How do
And
you know,
flossing your
Desiree? Do you want him to come out
listen,
and shake your hand wet?
mm, I just anyway. Okay. So a couple things that came up, Dory, while you were saying that, I was like, that was my anyway, I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist. So one thing when you were talking about after losing a husband from a massive heart attack and you're like, I've got to make sure that this person is healthy before I jump into this relationship. Like, this is another complicator of dating in midlife. Like, we've experienced loss or breakups. And so to open your heart again takes a lot of courage. Like, I have struggled with this a lot since my mom died and my divorce is, do I want to open my heart again and get used to living life with a partner and then have the rug ripped out from under me and going back to being single again. And like and so it's kept me very guarded of like I don't want to get too attached to a person, but then I'm also realizing that I'm closing off my heart but then I'm like this is hard because we can't approach these relationships with the end in mind of like they're going to end and it's going to suck because then you can't I mean it's a sticky wicket because we have all this life experience and we're come to it with a different context than a naive 20-year-old of like, oh, it's gonna be beautiful and amazing, and we're gonna be married and happy ever. I mean, like, whatever. You
Rose
can be
tinted
happy.
glasses.
Yeah, I mean, it's work. Relationships are work. If you're in
Oh,
your 20s and you're listening to this,
God.
relationships are work.
Why did no one put that on the package? Because
I
I
don't.
feel like people just come, it's like, oh yeah, relationships are so easy and it's going to be so wonderful. No, it ain't. It's hard. It's
It
hard.
it is.
Yeah.
And if you
And
need to get therapy whilst you're also in this relationship, get it too, because that also, I mean, it helped me because seriously, the person who's been independent for however many years, and now I got these two people that I've got to help and be nice to, and like that was really a mind shift for me because I
I
struggled
had
in the first couple of
I
years.
actually had a friend who sat me down and said, "Look, here's your MO." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You run. You pack up and you run." And she actually met my mother. So a couple of weeks ago, she came into town. She flew in from Ohio. We went to dinner with my mother because anyway, she met my mother online and they've just kind of, we've been friends for years. But anyway, we're at dinner and she's like, I told your daughter she has to stop packing up and running every time that it gets there. And my mom's like, what's wrong with that?
apple tree.
She
Uh,
said, it's today. Goes, and that's where she gets it from.
what's
Mom, I
wrong
love
with
you.
that? That's hilarious story. That is hilarious. Oh my God. So that's hilarious. Another thing that bubbled up that I realized a couple months ago, when you get discouraged, because the apps can be discouraging, right? Like you connect with people and like when I either have really great conversations or pretty meh or like just ghosting conversations, like I don't want to talk about what's been going on with my weekend. Like let's talk about something interesting, right? Like I get the whole small talk thing. Maybe somebody asked me they were like, "Are you neurodivergent?" I'm like, "I don't know, probably." Like,
They just came out and asked you that, like,
yes. Like I'm pretty sure I have some ADHD shit going on, but I blame our phones for that.
well, I think
Um,
everyone does, to be
but
perfectly honest.
when I like sometimes I'm just very direct and I'm like, "Let's talk." Like I don't mind jumping into the deep end of the pool and having deep conversations with somebody. Like I kind of feel like that is I love that, right? Like let me see your humanness and let me like let's be human beings. Like take down all the walls and the niceties. Like I don't want to do the small talk bullshit, right? Um like let's not like how's your weekend going? Fine. Like that's just a waste of fucking time. Like anyway, okay. I'm going to shut up.
But I will tell you this too, though. Don't get too deep too fast with some stuff because
You
there
are
are
very
some
right.
things that like someone, started disclosing to me all of their like they just like brought their luggage to dinner and just like just threw it on the table and like opened it up and started like throwing like not literally, you know what I'm saying, but like it was like just dumping everything on the table right there. It was like a first like it was lunch. It was just lunch. It wasn't even dinner. It was just lunch. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was nice meeting you.
I
And
I think okay, so there's context there too, because I went to a 3 hour coffee that I couldn't get away from. Michelle, I called you on the way from home from that one. That was last year. And it was the person brought their entire luggage and they were going on an international trip with all the bags checked and all of it came out. And I was like, damn, I'm learning a lot about you and why I never want to ever talk to you again. No offense, this person's, but I was like, whoa, no, right? Versus let me share some pieces of me with you that are
hey,
interesting or whatever, right? Like let's talk, like there's nuance to that. But I don't know. I can't stand the like how's your weekend? Like rah, rah, rah. But
well, yeah,
like
go ahead.
anyway, like ask a more interesting question if you need help. Like there's AI, consult the Googles.
Well, I will say, that was one of the things that one of my friends who's been on the dating apps for a while also is, asking each other questions. And it's not just it's a two-way street, and that's one of her frustrations has been like, I get where it's people just talking about themselves. And I think that that's another thing too, is that we've gotten so used to being more talkers rather than listeners and not as engaged with each other at that level of where you're actually having a conversation instead of let me give you my rundown on my sheet and all my facts. Here I am, da, 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 and then not engaging and having that when it flows and it's a great conversation, it's so much richer. And I think that you can have like a connection with someone versus just give me the facts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The questioning thing. So I follow this lady on Instagram's dating coach Erica. She's awesome. And she's like two questions in a statement. And then if they don't come back with something, unmatch. And so she's like write a greeting with a question. They come back with a response. If they come back with a response she's like you can ask a second question. If they come back with just a response and no follow-up question for you, a statement and let the conversation die. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's brilliant because it's a time saver. Anyway, dating coach
Yeah.
Erica, y'all follow her. She's amazing. She's got some really great advice that has really helped me stop wasting so much time chasing people who trying to have a conversation with them is like pulling their teeth. It's
Well,
crazy.
and there's that sense of like also kind of owning your own power as well. Like, one of the things, just from my own experiences that I've gotten older as well as in my time management and all of that stuff is not being so eager to just be like, if someone asks you like out going, yeah, I can meet you there in 5 minutes. And we just met. It's being able to like, I think I told you guys this once. I was like, the guy was like, oh, when can you go out on a date? And I was like, September? And it was August. He was like,
Listen, that
and he said you were too unavailable. And I'm like,
that's been me though this week. Like I've been impossible person. And I feel kind of guilty about that. So I'm like, we're just gonna lay low on like matching with people right now because
But
you
I
do
think
not
it's
have
about
time.
appreciating your time and being, and being genuine too. Of this is, I've got all of these things in my life, and The right person will appreciate that, I think, and be like, oh, this person's got something interesting and intriguing about them that they're got all this going on and just and it's not a game, it's not playing a game, it's just being authentic. And I think when people like go, well, let me change my everything around just to do this, you're not being authentic. You're being, just kind of like I don't know.
It's not
To me,
sustainable. It's not a sustainable thing.
it's not.
You're
It's
going to have to
not.
continually be a shapeshifter, and that
Yeah.
is not.
They're gonna expect it as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's about that exactly.
Set your
Yeah.
boundaries. Set your boundaries
Oh,
with
we have
them.
an episode on that. You
I
should go
know.
listen to it. I'll put the note in the show notes. We talk about the damn boundaries. We should do another boundaries episode. So one thing that I do want to say that I realized a couple years ago is the dating pool is always changing. People are always ending and getting into relationships. So like if you're wallowing in your pity and you're like, this sucks, it's like the swamp of like the dating pool. You know what? The dating pool is always changing. So stick with it. Have your standards, but don't wallow in your pity. Some people are not ready for a relationship now, but they're amazing people and they're just waiting to be ready. And then when they are, like the dating pool changes and they appear,
Mm.
they could be your person.
Well,
So
I feel like it's always, when you're not looking, then like two or three people come. That's what happened to me. Like I wasn't looking, and then it was just like, all right, two or three people came, and I'm just like, oh, what's going on? Um, and then had to choose. I had to choose one of them. But I'm gonna also say that there are those people out there who are looking for a unicorn, because they have like super high standards. And I get it. You don't want to what's the word? Again, I can't think this morning. This is what happens in midlife, guys, when ladies just know when you're going through perimenopause, you can't think of words and it just pisses you off that you're just like, I'm trying to find this word.
Michelle's having brain fog.
I am big time. I just sometimes feel that some people
They have
like
unrealistic
have a
expectations.
they do very unrealistic. And you know, I'm not saying that you need to let go of all your needs and wants. I'm not saying that, but you're not going to get everything. You can't physically. I don't know where there's a person who is absolutely perfect and does 100% of everything that you want them to do. Like my husband, no, there's no way he's 100%. And I don't think there's anyone on this planet that is going to give you 100% of what you need all the time. Maybe 90, maybe 80. But I feel sometimes also people when they get to this age, they're very unrealistic with what they need, with what they want to have.
Well, I think it also goes back to Michelle, though, is also you're not going to give everybody somebody 100% as well.
No,
So you're not perfect.
no.
You're looking for perfection. You're not perfect. And just being able to find it. It's not about settling. It's about
That's the word I was
finding.
looking for. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
You're welcome. I'm on the same page as you today.
Or to lower
And it's
your
not, it's
standards, or to lower your standards. So yes.
It's exactly. I mean, have standards, have boundaries, have all of those different things, but also know that what I go back to what are you bringing to the table as well? Who are you showing up as? If you want someone that's adventurous, that likes to travel, that's something. Do you travel? Are you bringing that or what is it that you have to look at it from both sides and not be otherwise, I mean, you're going to be nitpicking everybody that walks through the door and you just might miss that someone special.
Right.
When you're
Yeah.
single, you have no place to hide. Like in Al Anon, we used to say, wherever you go, there you are. And so
Yes.
once I got divorced, I'd be pissed off about stuff. And I'm like, well, there's nobody else to blame in the situation but you, Desiree. So that's a good one. And,
Yeah.
but I can own my shit now. And then also, like, living alone has been such a teacher for me. Um, and my singlehood, like, I want to be in a relationship, but also I know that I can do this I can do life single if I need to. And there's a certain power in that. And I would say that sometimes if I meet someone who hasn't been like in a marriage or a long-term relationship, like there's clues, but then other times people have different priorities. So they might have been focused on their career, and then they're ready to step into a different stage of life. So that I'd like I hear you on that, Doree. Like sometimes it's glaringly obvious why some people are not haven't been
So maybe
married.
maybe I should have added in front of that has a job.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a job and you have advanced your career and like, furthered your education and those kinds of things, you may have just been focusing on that for the first half of your life.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's
That
And
was
nothing wrong
so,
with that.
yeah. But like, if there's other red flags that could point to why, like it's but as we age, we have that wisdom, ladies. We
You
have the
hope.
wisdom.
You hope. Just putting it out there. I mean, I've seen it sometimes with girlfriends when it's just like they just keep on attracting the same people over and over again, and then I'm like, have you learned anything from these
Oh.
relationships? And it's just repeating itself, and I'm just like, come on now. Have you not learned anything from the past relationships that you've been in that this shit doesn't work? But I
Okay.
digress. Are we ready for the uncomfortable
Yes.
question?
Yes,
let's
we
do
need to get
this.
that rolling.
Okay. All right. Is your checklist for a partner actually realistic for a human your age with a full life?
I'm gonna say yes. Like at this point, like yes.
Is it realistic?
Hmm.
Is it achievable? Is it attainable?
Says the person that does goals.
No.
I like my checklist
Smart.
for
And Desiree doesn't like smart goals.
stop it. We all said that we hated smart goals. I wasn't the only one. Don't make me get my location girl out. And anyway,
Oh, I want to see that.
no,
The little Cajun girl.
no, I'm gonna say that my checklist for a partner is realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Michelle? You're married.
I know. I mean, yes, the what I needed, yes, checkbox. Now, could it be better? Of course, I mean, as I said, there's not, but we're not perfect. And am I perfect? No, definitely not. Maybe you need to ask my husband about this question and see if there's anything that he's just like, yeah, maybe I need to put this on the checklist now. Now that she's going through perimenopause.
Dory.
You know, when I first got sober, my counselor in rehab told me to create a list of what I needed in a partner. And I don't think that that's such a bad idea. I think that if you don't have it in your head about what you need, getting it on paper and actually looking at it and then going through it and seeing if it is realistic, is it, you're trying to build the perfect person, and then going through and just highlighting maybe your top three. What are your top three? And letting the others, let the universe decide and put in front of you who your match is, I think is the kind of the way to look at it, whether it's to an app or not. I'm not saying just sit around and wait in the supermarket for the perfect person to come by, but being able to like just go, what are my non-negotiables? What are my, and being very realistic with it. So to answer your question, I had that list and I found it and then I tuck it away and then I look at it and I find it again and I see it and it just, it's still very similar, but for me, the top, there was some top ones on there and that's what I kind of go with. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with the list. I made a list. I was constantly making a list actually in my 30s. And then the list changed. I think it should change.
I think it should change as we
I
Yeah.
think it
age.
should change.
Yeah.
But if you're in a relationship and you want to be with this person, then you need to be cognizant about growing together. That was really great advice that my dad gave me.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, one of the things with you and your mom was that we grew apart. And when you're together with someone for that long, you need to make sure that when you grow together. So, all right, quotes. Who's got quotes?
I got it.
Okay.
Look for a partner who complements your life but does not complete it.
Ooh,
Mm.
who said that?
You should be complete. And then they just are like, I used to say the icing, the cream cheese, because that's my favorite, cream cheese icing on my carrot cake.
Sweet. All right, Micehlle, you got one?
Um, yeah, every relationship is a success in its own way, with lessons that move us along our personal path and prepare us for even deeper love. And that's by Belinda Busty Burham. So yeah, because
The
it is a
what?
lesson. Being in a relationship and being married, it is a big ass lesson.
Life is a lesson. What you
Oh
talking about?
gosh, yes. And there are twists and turns, and you have to work things out, and yeah, ain't easy.
Um, all right, this one I really love. When you find love later in life, you do it with all the wisdom of knowing heartbreak and all the peace of knowing who you are. And that's Childhouse. Lord, I can't read this morning. Huh. Anyway,
I can't speak. You can't read.
we would love to hear your perspectives. If you have something to add to this conversation, go ahead and leave us a comment, or you can get in touch with us on our Buzzsprout page. There's like a send us a little fan mail message. So, yeah, if y'all want to reach out. Doree, what are we talking about next? We're just going to roll right into season 4.
I'm
Um,
so excited about this. We met, we decided, hey, we're going to go for it. And I am super, super excited for next season. We're going to dive a little bit more into coaching. So we got some groups of things that we're going to do, but we're going to talk about a little bit more about coaching, when to know when like what makes you coachable, who to look for. I mean, there's so many different coaches out there that do so many different things. How do you know which one? So we're going to dive deeper into that in our next couple of episodes. I'm excited about it. Excited for next season, y'all.
Yes,
sweet.
season 4.
Yeah, and we already have our whole 12 episodes stuffed out for season 5. So, hope you guys are enjoying hearing our perspectives. We would love to hear from you what really resonates with y'all. So, please get in touch and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Life Coaches Unfiltered. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or follow us on social media. Got a question you've been afraid to ask? Send it our way at lifecoachesunfiltered@gmail.com. Until next time, keep growing, keep questioning, and stay unfiltered.